Hey, Dan here, just checking in. Felt the urge or spirit to speak my mind on a few things. And you can take it or leave it and think what you want, but I would be doing an injustice to those that are having certain experiences to not share. And I received a message this morning from an old contact in regards to some new technologies in regards to transmission of data. And lo and behold, they're under the ocean and sending signals and packets of data using light. And I'm not on for that. When you look at the previous tech people or whoever it's been fucking with light codes and playing God, and the impacts of Wi-Fi and 5G. So first of all, I just want those that are experiencing interference in their life and being threatened with mental health by either karmics, family may have concerns for you, and it might be genuine. You might need mental health assistance. We all need that support at some point or another, but not when it's interfered with and when it's not reality. Because unfortunately, with a lot of the technology advancements, there's been a false reality that's been put over this wonderful environment that we're in. So if you are having, and the other thing, most people that have taken the walking antennas. Go and look, and there's enough proof of this now. 5G signals connecting to your body, and you have a MAC address. MAC, which is the address of the device, your device. You have the ability to cleanse yourself from these heavy metals and stuff that's within your body. But when you're a signal, you can connect like any device to any other device, like Bluetooth, which is, where that signal and data you can see with streams, most people that have had have got, and even many that haven't, because they're in the meat and they're anything they can, fish, salmon, fucking all sorts. So, ultimately, do not freak out if your telly starts acting a bit weird and saying things it shouldn't be. And even people, NPCs, people that have succumbed and let their soul be basically inhabited by an energetic force that is not their soul and spirit. It's been hijacked. So, not only if the telly starts talking to you weird, or the radio, which can have, with the portals of the internet flow and traffic can be controlled. Right, so those ports of internet, is it Tim Berners-Lee with TPIC, what is it? Anyway, these are packets of data that go through certain points, and yes, they can be controlled. So if you are a Bluetooth antenna, or if you walk in the vicinity of something that can receive, say for example, if it's an electronic device, it's there can be an overlay, a cut, basically what's called a digital twin, like an alternate version where the original, like you wouldn't notice this, right? But what's on telly, and especially with now AI generated sort of content and how realistic it's getting, if that point in time it could literally, and we're far more advanced than what they're having on, but they could literally create a narrative and speak to you and fuck with your head, and you would think it's speaking to you and think, am I tripping out? Is this actually happening? And yes, it's a huge plausible theory, if that's what you want to call it. And same thing goes to people around you. Now, sort of that saying, I forgive them, they don't know what they do. you've got to sort of do that with your people that you know, if you think, oh, what don't they love me anymore, or what have I done, or just remember it's not always them, you know, depending on the scenario where the signal has been picked up. Now I'm talking specifically to those carrying light. For yous that aren't carrying light and trying to siphon it, then sort of the gig's up, you know, just fucking evolve. And if you want some teachings, or surely there's a way we can fix yous without you fucking us. Excuse my French. Anyway, I sort of go through that process of forgiveness for them, but yeah, some things, yeah, leave that to the high God and the angelic support sort that out. Anyway, I just want you to not freak out, basically, and to be very cautious of, one, I stopped eating meat 6 months ago. Dan, with the Kings back in the day, do the test. You just do the test yourself and find out if you don't eat meat for 10 days. And the other thing, get ready, like, if things are going to occur with change, which they're happening, and certain things we've got to restructure and rebuild, then that includes local supply chain. We don't need, if you want to save the planet, so many trucks going around and probably carrying things they shouldn't be carrying when they're saying they're carrying one thing. And anyway, that just came to my mind. But long story short, going back to it, is cleanse your body as much as you can and connect out in nature. You know, the beautiful thing living out of my car at the moment is I'm out and about connecting with nature all the time. I'm not in a square box where your spirit gets trapped. I'll open my door, my spirit can go out and can travel, and so I'm not in a box, coffin. We're not meant to live in these square boxes, you know. Anyway, so we can start 3D printing houses that are circular and have a bit more feng shui, eh? Anyway, so, look, there's certain, ATP process, I'll get the acronym, what it actually stands for, but there is ways with alchemy and with food to, you know, cleanse your body, and then also with these transmittive thoughts, when you know, like, they're not yours, to claw that back in. Just sit in that moment to, yeah, sort of transmute it if you feel that it's not yours, and you know that for a fact. Just fucking of it, you know, just shake it off. Oh, I won't go there. Shake it off, Taylor. Anyway, so again, I'm not going to sort of waffle on too much about this, but I did want to sort of say that if you have experienced some sort of interference, whether it's from a technological device or a being, just know that in that point in time that it's going to pass, and you should have no fear. If you allow fear to overcome you, just know that time will pass, right? Because these things that get done, and if you are being targeted and have light in you, I think a lot of things from a high level are sort of flowing down now into unearthing and, you know, correcting some of these ungodly energies that have been overlaid by certain groups and people that just want to control them. So, you know, if you don't allow that fear and allow that energy to affect you, knowing the truths, knowing, and yeah, so look, I'll hone in on my messaging and refinement here and sort of helping people, but I think hopefully just one or two people can just be aware. I know a friend of mine had an experience, and, you know, unfortunately as well, with someone I know, you know, there's in your sleeping moments and just with these frequencies of being able to put thoughts in people's heads, basically. So just the fearlessness and being authentic and true to yourself, and like letting go of some of those things you need. I stopped drinking. I was drinking a bottle a day, and I stopped eating meat, and still smoking cigarettes and a few things, but just made a little bit of marijuana actually, not a few things. But even that sort of, not needed when you're alone, what's there to sort of escape from? For me, it's just my mind sometimes. And whatever tickle, anyway, it is what it is. So I'm starting to sort of waffle on. Hopefully the core message is sort of within for one or two people that can hear this, and to know that you're not going crazy, you're not mad, and to ignore it, basically. Get out in nature, go and connect with the birds flying around, and remember yourself and connection to this world, and not believe that they're with their agenda that they're creating there's no world. This is a fucking holographic shit. Well, fucking, you might have had that experience. Maybe you're an NPC that's been, it's got that. Maybe you're AI. Fuck, maybe I am. Who knows? But I've got no evidence to say and see that there's this isn't real. And definitely might be a test, might be a simulation in a matter-filled world. But in a matter-filled world, you've got, I get that there is fluid and atoms coming together to form matter. And I get that it's linked to plasma and that we're all interconnected. And I get that people need assistance to stay connected to self and nature. And we're at a pivotal point for the world and technology to remain human. Now, if you want to go and plug yourself in to AI and do all that, one, you don't have to. That information, it's not all in our brain, it's outside of our brain, and not outside of our brain in terms of voices in the head, and that's the trickery and the overlay. God is within everything, and that energy, when you receive that without interference, is where we're at. You can't store this, it's either already stored in our brain, or we can access it. Anyway, I'm waffling on. I'll be I'm trying to just record some music actually in here. Not too bad. Be critical of my singing sometimes, But anyway, hopefully everyone's staying strong and also remaining positive. There's there's obviously some things that have been going on now, but when we focus on future and North Star, and not to feed that energy, to collectively do some shadow work to sort of kick it to the curb. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the people that stay human, either staying here and everyone else that's not been evacuated. But I think, when that time comes, we'll be going to another place, because I don't think robots and souls in robots is and whoever's playing with sweeping consciousness and Akashic records and all those sort of things, I think your time's up, and I think that's where this place here is. We'll just see what's going to happen. I don't have those answers, but all I know is the more people that are up with the frequency, that are not infiltrated and that are aware and discerning of certain things, and I'll be spending more time being more cautious with my words again, not speaking as much at all. Language is very powerful, so I'm looking forward to honing in my skills there, and definitely suggest that you consider not saying as much and what you do say, knowing that it carries energy. Because a lot of these things and interference is causing thoughts like, you know, again, even on news and stuff, it's satire. It creates things, then you're speaking it into reality or with your community and at meetings or whatever might be going on. So anyway, hopefully I made 1 or 2 good points within this. I'm going to turn it off, upload this, and talk to you later. Cheers.